Hello, and welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
This is Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
I'm Ralph Attanasia from DuelingGenre.net.
And I'm Asterios Kokkinos from the Loudest Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Ralph and Asterios. Ralph Asterios.
That's us.
That's you.
All right, Asterios, which of us would you say is the Han Solo and which is the Chewbacca?
You're the Han, so you are the Han Solo. I'm much hairier than you. I guarantee you own a vest. I guarantee it.
Several.
I knew it. I've never seen you in a vest. I knew you have a vest.
I also almost exclusively wear jeans with a stripe down the side.
Yeah.
Because of the Corellian blood stripes.
But the thing that throws it off is I'm like 120 years older than you.
That's, you know what? We do need to switch that up. That is a very good point.
Which one of you has the most bandoliers in your closets?
Also Ralph!
That's probably also me.
Because of all his cosplay and LARP and such.
Oh, did you go down to LARP and such to get some?
Yeah. Crazy deals down there.
Yeah.
You show up with like a doubloon, you can get anything.
You're like Han Solo and Chewbacca. Who am I?
Oh,
Lobot?
Nah, you're like
Ochia Bestoon.
There you go.
oh god.
I always thought of myself as a
biased
nine numb. A nine. I got big cheeks, and a lot of times I don't make sense. And when I die, it'll make people sad. I guarantee it.
Oh, I wonder if we'll see him die on screen. Or it'll be the kind of thing.
I thought he
Did he
died
die
in
yet?
episode 9. I could have sworn he died in episode 9.
I don't. Didn't
Oh,
we
we'll see.
Oh, maybe.
I just don't feel anything about that though. I feel like I'm kind of nine numb.
Oh,
Oh,
are
boy.
you comfortably nine numb?
Comfortably numb.
I have become.
Well,
Minute
today
88.
we are comfortable talking about minute 88 of Solo: A Star Wars Story. 88 starts with Han asking, "Are they on us?" And it ends with Chewie taking care of business in the cockpit, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
Well, you know who else doesn't know what somebody means? It's Han Solo. I love this little bit, even though it's it's goofy, but I love it because it's so like it's good for Star Wars. It's kind of poking fun at Star Wars a little bit, but it's also poking fun at kind of, Woody Harrelson's little folksy kind of attitude, his aura of sorts.
Now, you're referring to the fact that Han Solo says, "Are they on us?" And then
Bobias
Tekit says, it took me a while to figure out what he was saying.
Pee on a poo-poo.
Yeah,
I thought he said like a rice bowl and a Cadillac. But he really said like rationaled on a Cadillac.
On a Cadillac, yeah, Cadillac.
Cadillac.
Well, that makes sense though.
And then secondly, he says like a Gingelson's pelt.
Yes. Now,
And
of those three, one of them has a tiny bit of background information, and the other two are pure fabrication is for this movie.
like it just says a Cadillac is a thing that had rationaled on it, and rationaled is a thing that's on a Cadillac or whatever.
Right. Well, except Cadillac is actually the one. So you picked the one that has a tiny bit of backstory.
Cadillac's the one.
Because Cadillacs were fast quadrupeds with prominent teeth, and like most of the planet's creatures, they were not indigenous to, but were most plentiful on the planet Rune. And that
It's like they couldn't get rights to Dune.
Guys.
Dune. Rune.
I hate Star Wars.
And that is, of course, Legends, but it's from the role-playing game source book Geonosis and the Outer Rim Worlds. So that's the only thing that was taken from something previous. The other two, it's just kind of like, rational is something that was sometimes on a Cadillac, and a Gingleson is something with a pelt.
And it's just right on there.
Right.
That pelt.
This guy's spitting Geonosis lore.
Yeah.
Of all the planets that I wouldn't expect to have like a lot of folksy witticisms. It would be genosis. They seem like they're all business on that planet. The business of making clones.
And why would Babias know anything about that?
He's worldly, like I said, and his aphorisms. We might use aphorisms for things that we don't necessarily come into contact with. You know what I mean?
Exactly, like water off a duck's back.
Right. Well, have you ever tried to water a duck?
What's a duck?
I think you meant to ask, what are a duck?
Why a duck?
Why no chicken?
But I do like that he's, he kind of pokes fun at the stuff that we're always kind of like, of course it's got to be a, like a bantha, or like a bantha is a whole different thing. But it's always too kind of like,
a nerf herder.
It's always like
herder,
throwing
wolf
something in that we've
milker.
seen, that we've heard of before when they use a simile like this
If that
in other
isn't
things.
the Quacta calling the Stifling slimy.
Right. Well, that the movie does introduce some new ones, and then here it's making a good job of poking fun at its own. And Han is like, I don't know what that means. He looks like a giggles and spell. He's like, what? Like, are they or aren't they? Like it's a good. Granted, it is in the middle. I think it is well placed in kind of deflating the tension a little bit, because it's a tense kind of scene, but mixing these in there works for me. I don't know, that's not necessarily the case for everybody.
They do the same kind of bit on an episode of Star Trek Discovery, and it's a little funnier.
Can we hear it a little bit?
Hum a few
the
bars.
one guy is like, well, if it isn't the PP calling the poo-poo doo-doo.
That is funnier. I mean, you're right.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I know what those
said.
things
They were all
are.
fake and made up.
Okay. No, I look, here's my take on this. Yeah, I like the scene. It's well delivered. It's well acted. I think there's TIE fighters on you, though. Pretty sure you're like, you would know if there weren't TIE fighters on you. Because you wouldn't be surrounded by red lasers. There wouldn't be like red lasers coming at you from every direction. I don't know why you're asking your gunner about this.
The red lasers are a dead giveaway.
Yes. Also, they always make that noise like you're hearing those noises.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Well, there's
the gunner stations don't seem like they have necessarily the best visibility if you're being chased. I mean, you're basically facing downward, as we saw in The Force Awakens. So it's the only thing I can assume is that it's not his ship, so he doesn't know like where the radar is or anything or something like that. So he has to ask, and he doesn't know necessarily that Woody Harrelson is not facing the right way to be able to see if people are pursuing them. I don't know.
Right.
I think he asked that to set up that bit.
Yeah, he knew. They are a good squad together. I'll give him that.
Yeah. A comedy squad.
I'm not so sure. I'm not sure how I feel about the mixing of a lot of jokes in with this sequence. Because you're right, it does undercut the tension a lot, and I'm not sure if it's too much. But I mean, the movie is generally a lighthearted tone. It's not like the stakes aren't as high. You're not bringing the plans back so this space station can stop blowing up planets.
But the jokes in this scene are especially goofy pants. Like in a little bit later, like I hurt my thumbs. It's silly stuff. Well, it's a little sillier than we see Tekkit being in the rest of the movie.
You know what? I bet they shot this thing first and early. And this is still those old directors that they got rid of for doing too many bits.
It definitely seems more of a Lord Miller sequence.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's like, well, we can't cut around the climax to our film. I guess we have to use this.
I'm trying to think of what I was flipping through the notes that John Kasdan left to go along with this, and none of the he doesn't specifically mention who did this bit. There's the Kessel Run The only thing that it seems like he has to say about the Kessel Run is, love it or hate it or indifferent, watch it on the best screen with the best sound you can find. It's truly a technical marvel of visual effects and sound design that really represents the state of the art the state of the art form at this moment. I'd put that sequence up against any visual effects in movie history. That's bold.
It's like a hysterical.
Yeah, but he's damning it with faint praise, isn't he? He's like, yeah, this makes a really great test for a huge TV at Best Buy.
Look
at all the colors.
Look at that. It's
Never
like
find a better demo
beyond the mind's eye. Yeah, it's also a testament to Chris Rouse, the brilliant writer and editor who came in and helped us streamline the Kessel Run sequence and the Convex job. I don't recall him coming up earlier and talking about this. So,
and I don't think whatever they did to streamline that Convex job made the story better. Sorry, babe. Got to blow up for no reason.
Well, one thing that does make the movie better is we get to see the return of the classic Millennium Falcon targeting computer shot here. Always good to see images from the original. Not always good, but I guess this is one of those fan service things that I'm like, cool, I like it. And it makes sense in the context.
Yeah, if it makes sense. I don't think it's fan service so much as continuity.
Right.
But do you think that, that's what's... You could argue that there's different guns on this thing, so would it have a different... Does Star Wars have software updates? Because this computer screen looks pretty much identical to the one we see in A New Hope, even though it's 10 years later.
Right.
So is this the kind of thing where you're like, once you buy it, it's already set up and it's done? Or do you have to update it?
Once Tobias, then you set it up and it's already done.
Tobias?
One time, I updated the firmware on my printer, and then it stopped accepting my counterfeit ink cartridges. It was like, we know this ain't from HP. And then ever since then, I've never updated a single device of mine. I will never. I had to throw the printer away. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But now it's 2022 and you don't need a printer anymore.
I need a printer.
Oh,
because I send out, because like the Star Wars Minute guys, like I do like Patreon rewards and I send out stickers and things. So when I bought like a nice laser printer, it's not on the internet and it never will. I will never update this printer. So, but it's a similar thing with the quad laser cannons. It's like, well, this computer does allow me to effectively kill TIE fighters. Yeah, it does the thing where it turns green and lines up. It does a job.
I got a 3D printer.
Wait. Oh, for your miniatures for D&D and such, I assume.
Yeah, and even less practical things.
Like?
Well, I got a box of Godzillas from Mezco, and I was like, I don't have any buildings for them to knock over. So I modeled some buildings in Tinkercad and then made them so that they could break apart when your Godzillas hit them.
Nice.
That is a need. That's not
actually. If you have a 3D printer and you want to print some of those yourself, you can go find me on Thingiverse. I think I'm at Manodactyl.
Oh,
Manodactyl.
Okay. Manodactyl.
You can print out one of them is a donut shop with a big donut on it, like Randy's Donuts, but there's a bite taken out of it when you take the other piece off, like Godzilla ate it.
Oh, nice. Is it to scale? It's to scale with the Godzilla?
I mean, you got to scale it yourself.
Oh,
because what if they're different sizes?
Yeah.
Well, with 3D printing, you could make the Randy's Donuts bigger or smaller because it's vector based.
Yeah, it's a vector.
Only you know the size of the Godzilla.
Just like the targeting computer on the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly.
There you go, vectors.
Quad laser printer.
Right, CMYK.
Do you think the Empire, we all carry phones around with us all the time, and our motions are tracked all the time? I would assume that in the age of the Empire, like everyone would be tracked all the time. I mean, we're tracked all the time, and we're not in an evil empire, right? Anyway,
but
moving on.
I think they're outside of the. I don't know. I would think that the sheer distances make it tough to do that. That they're outside. Yeah, like if you're on, if you're flying around in the core, probably everybody knows where you are all the time. But if you're out doing the Kessel Run and going to, Tatooine and stuff like that, people might not know where you are.
Or if your ship has something that is capable of tracking someone even after they jump to light speed.
Well, we'll get to that. That's technology that we haven't developed yet.
No, we saw that in Last Jedi.
I know, but we haven't developed that yet.
Oh,
or
yeah.
earlier in the camp. But soon, almost immediately after this, they do put a tracking device on the Falcon, when it leaves the Death Star. So it's like, they got that thing. So they can home this ship. They can track this ship from the core to the rim, but they can't email the Death Star plans from the core to the rim.
Yeah.
It's true.
Also,
it's a wacky space future.
They were just waiting for the attachment to upload the whole time.
Look, this is what I would do. I'm telling you guys right now.
All right.
You don't have to send all of the plans. Just send the specific tab about the weakness.
Well, they don't know about that yet. They analyze the plans after they get to the base, and then they assess that there's a weakness.
Yes, you're right.
So you need the Rebel engineers to. That's the thing I would love to see. So you could add another movie in between Rogue One and Star Wars, and it's like Geordi, Wesley, Barclay, and Data around the table, and it's just all the guys looking at the Death Star plans, trying to figure out how to best kind of what they could do. And they all have different ideas about it. Then somebody was just like, wait a minute, what about this thermal exhaust port? Oh, it's so small.
Really
That's the movie you want to see?
That's the movie I want to see.
A bunch of nerds sitting around staring at computers for 2 hours.
Totally.
All right.
It could be like the Enigma machine.
Right.
But it's like Dodonna's code breakers.
Oh, Dodonna.
You want
General
to
Dodonna.
You want to throw in some worse Star Trek characters into that too? Maybe we could get Neelix in there.
Like Reginald Barclay? He represents us, the viewer. Terrified, scared, in love with computer programs, nervous.
I always saw myself as more of a Geordie LaForge. Really inappropriate with women, blind.
Mm-hmm.
Both Geordie and Barclay fall in love with holograms. I'm just pointing that out. They're very similar. They're both engineers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a common.
Wesley Crusher. That was the other one you put in there.
Yeah,
it's
Wesley,
really...
Data, Geordie, and Barclay. That's the dream team, really.
Well, Data's good.
Look, I like all of those characters, but they all do represent me. Just a very nervous, awkward person. Remember when Data pushes that doctor into the freezing cold water? I could see myself doing that and thinking it would be funny and then wondering why people were mad at me. Poor sweet Data.
Oh,
he was too good for this world.
Yeah, I know.
You know who else is too
better than his though?
You know who else is too good for this world? The mighty Chewbacca, because he refuses to get in the other. He refuses to operate the other cannon. So he's a pacifist at this point.
Wow.
I like that.
What's up with that? Why no? Well, and I'll have a question about that for.
He's not a pacifist at this point. He ripped somebody's arms off already in this movie.
But that was when he had a very specific goal he was seeking to accomplish. Now he's just like, these guys haven't done anything to me. So why else isn't he manning the guns? Is my question.
Well, that was a note I had for tomorrow because Beckett gets when the ventral gun gets
wrecked.
Jammed, destroyed, wrecked. Why not jump to the dorsal gun or top gun, if you will?
Yeah, good question.
So
maybe they don't know what's there.
What's a goose? I think, or is there not one right now? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure when they showed it landing, they showed it like you saw it from behind the gun that was on the top of the. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's broken.
Out of order.
Maybe there was a scene, an elaborate scene where Lando was explaining that the top guns don't work,
right,
et cetera, et cetera.
And during that scene, they were all just wearing like short shorts and no shirts, and they're playing volleyball. And they're explaining, why the cannons
we all
don't
watched
work.
the minute, Pete.
I know. I'm just for the people who might just be, catching up.
So the Falcon has some guns that you can operate from the cockpit, but it also has other guns that you need more people for.
Yeah.
Well, I think it can basically. Like there's like a shoot button.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, you can't really like control and target specific things from the cockpit while you're flying. Right. You need to sit in the thing and move it around. But you can just have the guns kind of on and you can hit shoot. Which will probably most of the time just go straight forward basically. So whatever you're flying towards, you can probably shoot.
It really feels like the Falcon should have a crew of 4 or 5 instead of
yes.
Yeah.
two.
It's like they're always flying around like a duo, and it's like, okay, I mean, but it's you're gonna need more people. Like
sure.
I guess they just always like hope they'll just run into like various like vagabonds and ragamuffins who they can stuff in these little turrets.
Well, Han tried to get Luke to join them in Star Wars. You're pretty good in a fight. We could use you.
And then he
finally
tried to
get someone to use
Rey.
those guns.
He tried to hire Rey later too. So
you're absolutely right.
He's desperate for people.
Yeah,
Biden's America, man. No one wants to work ananymore.
No one wants to work anymore. That's exactly right.
You never wanted to work. That was why you had to pay us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That I think you could. Lots of stories in between there about extra people that they just took on for a little bit.
It's like the drummer in Spinal Tap. The third member of the Han Solo Chewbacca blank crew is always always getting into mishaps.
It's like, hey, did you know that this guy was in Millennium Falcon crew for a little bit? It's like one of those bands that's like,
Yeah. Speaking of the Falcon, one shot I really like, which I don't recall seeing anything like this in any other thing, is you see it's like an external shot of the Falcon cockpit, and you see Han driving it, and he looks up, and you see the TIE fighter like from inside the cockpit. I really like that shot there.
Yeah.
I like when he uses the Falcon like a ping pong paddle and slaps the one TIE fighter out of the sky just spinning around. That's my favorite part of this minute.
I like that too.
Yeah.
There. I had something.
He contributed.
Yeah.
If I'm these TIE fighters, or if I'm the Imperial, look, I get that the Empire are the bad guys, and the bad guys have to chase the good guys. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the Empire thinks they're getting out of chasing this freighter. Like, I don't know why they're risking so many brand new TIE brutes and highly trained pilots. I get that, like, I get that like people and life is disposable to the Empire, but from a sheer credits perspective, it's like you're wasting at least 500,000 credits worth of ties, 250,000 used to like get some ship, and you don't know what's on the ship and you don't know why you want it.
Throw everything we have at that space truck. So why?
I hate that ship. Well, I had earlier in this was actually a minute thing I had for 86, but it's a good segue right there. In minute 86, Lando says, we're stuck. Maybe we should dump our cargo. We should dump it out. Is he thinking dump it out so they won't chase us? Or is he thinking dump it out so when we're caught, we don't have the bag of weed in the car with us? Because it seems like if they... Like, it's kind of too late to dump it and say, oh, no, we never had that. Like, they'll see you dumping it at this point.
Well, maybe not. Maybe they'll just go, I mean, they're facing
right at them, and I assume they're on every, like, monitor that is checking, and they would see if, like, an escape pod or something jumped out of it. So, do you think he's just doing it so that they don't get... It's like, well, legally, you didn't catch us with it on our thing, so we can't be... Anyway. The Empire doesn't seem like the kind of people who would be like, well, you got us on a technicality, son. I guess we got to let you go.
Right.
But anyway.
I think they could figure out a way to dump it without getting, like dip into the cloud, like rub the belly of the Millennium Falcon along the clouds for a little bit and just dump it out the bottom. You know what I mean?
Like when you got to pee when you're at the beach and you just kind of dip yourself in the ocean up to the waistband of your swim trunks.
Right. Yeah. Just enough. And then you're like, hey, I didn't have to pee.
But imagine if that pee exploded. Like, that's the problem.
I don't have to.
This thing's going to explode huge. Like, they're going to be like, okay, we saw that.
Yeah. I was once in the ocean, and we were getting in and out of the ocean on a boat with a ladder on it, and they told you, like, if you're going to go pee in the water, don't pee right in front of the ladder because people are going to be going in and up the ladder, and that would be gross. And on the one hand, I'm like, yes, that's obviously makes sense, but on the other hand, this whole thing is filled with pee and poop and toxic waste and hypodermic needles. This is the ocean. It's filled with, you know what I mean? Like, it seems weird to suddenly get I don't want this part right here to be having, I don't know.
There's millions of years of pee in there. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The ocean is like 80% pee at this point.
It's just a soup made of pee and sea monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we get the asteroid music.
How do you guys feel about the assertion that the ocean is soup? Because it's water with salt, vegetables, and meat.
Right.
It's too salty. I don't like the taste.
Oh.
You know what I like? Soup. I don't like the taste of that soup.
I don't like soup.
You don't like soup?
No, but I do like the ocean.
Coarse and irritating. It gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Have a salad.
Well, it's totally way far afield now, but that's the thing with the a soy vanilla latte is a 3-bean soup.
Oh my God, you're right.
That came from the internet.
That's Spanish for I'm vanilla latte.
That was also a different alternate name for Tobias Beckett, vanilla latte.
Now that's vanilla a bad
latte.
guy.
That was the alternate name for
sounds like a stripper.
Whatever Vision's character was called.
The Vision.
Yes.
That's right.
The Vision.
The original Human Torch.
Paul Bettany.
Hammond.
What's that guy's
Jim
name?
Hammond.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dryden
Paul
Voss. Dryden
Who's
Voss.
the villain? Quinlan Voss. Yeah.
Dryden Voss.
Dryden Voss.
Quinlan
Is he
Voss
related
is a
to
different
Quinlan
guy
Voss?
on a different job.
Who's Quinlan Voss?
He's that.
Voss.
He's the guy. He's got like.
You're thinking of
hair.
Bosick? No. You're
The guy
you're
with the
not
hair.
thinking
That's
of
right. That's
Bosick.
right. Yeah.
Quinlan Voss. He's like a Jedi who
Yeah.
looks exactly human, but he has tattoos on his face, so that makes him not human for some reason.
Yeah.
He's in the prequels.
He's
My friend Sean thinks that the prequels are good because that character's in the background of the Phantom Menace for a shot.
he is.
Yes.
He's like sitting at the table.
He's like always off camera.
Yeah.
He's like
Right.
just always.
But he was from some series of books or comics. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I know. He's in an episode of Clone Wars where like he gets teamed up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, Quinlan, you're always doing crazy things," and he's like, "I'm the crazy one."
Well, that's all I have for 88.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Same. Oh, well, it'll. Does it continue until tomorrow? I'll bring it up. I'll save it. Well, Joe, lump it all together. I had some music notes, but we'll save them, do them all together, maybe on Friday.
Maybe.
So
I get it. Music notes.
Music notes, just like
That's
the
good.
ones. Instead, I will say, hey, you know who is going to talk about the music much better than we are? It's our friend Chrysanthi Tan. Chrysanthi does a show called Star Wars Music Minute, and Chrysanthi actually knows about this kind of thing. So,
Hi, Chrysanthi. It's me, your friend Ralph.
look, we're all friends here. Have you, Asterios? Have you met Chrysanthi Tan?
No, but I'd like to.
Oh, there we go. We'll have to,
You
we have
would.
to arrange that. You guys can talk about Greek things.
I'd love to.
Yeah, there you go. So go check that out. Star Wars Music Minute, and wherever I believe it's available, YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. As far as I can tell, we link to it from our YouTube page. We'll often retweet things from that. And go check that out. Meet us back here tomorrow for a brand new episode of Star Wars.
Star Wars Minute.